Hey, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. I'm glad that you could be with us today alongside Jan from the Save Money and More with Jan channel is here.
Hey,
Jan,
Steve, hey, everybody.
from what I understand, you've got something you want to share.
I do because it came strongly across my heart. I had a friend, okay, that suddenly lost her husband, and she was not interested in keeping the car that he left behind. I'm mentioning this because there are a lot of people who might be married. Maybe they never drove a car. Maybe they don't want to be responsible for a car. Maybe they just don't like the car. Excuse me, I'm still battling some laryngitis, folks. So, in case my voice sounds a little funny, please forgive me. So, what do we do in a case like this? So, a strong suggestion came from myself because at one point, many moons ago, I was in a similar predicament and I just didn't want to deal with a car. I also didn't want to deal with random people like trying to sell the car. I just, I'm not a car salesperson. You know what I mean? So I helped my friend out by referring them to a company. Steve, you wouldn't believe it. This is where technology is a really good friend. I mean, a really good friend. And all and I am not promoting any business whatsoever. I am not promoting any specific business, but I am promoting a business model that I came across a long time ago and was very happy to see that it flourished. And it seems to be something that people could find. So let's say you're a person and you have a car that you don't want anymore for whatever the reason. That was never your intention to hang on to it. Was someone else's car, like a spouse, for example. You have to do your legalities and all that stuff. But all a person has to do is enter onto a website with like similar names to like selling a car online fast or sort of like a cash fast or fast cash for cars, something to that effect. Okay. Enter those keywords. Enter your zip code in your state. Do you have this kind of business available? And what they do, Steve, they refer people to a very simple link. And you just mention, I believe, your zip code and something else, just very basic information. They don't even ask for your VIN number on this thing. And you just enter it in, enter the model of the car and the year. Now, don't quote me on everything. All I could say, folks, is that they walk you through it. They're step by step. You may find different links, and you get sort of like a roundabout kind of quote. Now, here's where the convenience comes in. Suppose you have a disabled car, and you're like, "Oh my word, how am I going to get it to that location?" No, 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 no. In some instances, depending on the business and the location, it all depends. They could come to your location and tow it away. You make the deal. You may haggle a little bit here, a little bit there. But at the end of the day, that car that might have been your headache is off your hands. You don't have to go worrying back and forth and this and that like complete strangers. This is working with a business. Like, let's say there are many of them around the country. Okay. So you're dealing with professionals that know what they're doing. Sometimes you might get a quote back that's a little disappointing, whatever. Work with it, work with your situation. But, Steve, here's what I recommend for the folks. How much, before you even embark, sit down and ask yourself, how much do I really want to get this car out of my life? Okay. Because remember, the person may not be a driver. The person doesn't want to deal with like searching for strangers to get this thing. These are questions that only the prospective person could answer. My friend entered the information on one day, and within 24 or 30 something hours later, the transaction was completed. I'm not even kidding, Steve. Imagine this person
Mm,
within
wow.
one day. So, I mean, this is where technology comes in handy. Have you heard of any such things like that where it could be handled so quickly like that?
Um, no, usually in order to do something like that, there's usually like 2 or 3 day, two or
Excuse
three
me.
day, 2 or 3 day delay
Hmm.
before anything happens. But no, if it happens that fast, that's really good that you can get that type of result that quickly and get
Yeah.
money in your hand. And I just realized something else. If that car is sitting there and it has insurance on it, if you have insurance on that car and the car is just sitting there and you're making monthly insurance payments on that car and it's not able to be driven, it's costing you money. So
That's right. That's right.
usually at an insurance company, if you have more than one car, yes, they do offer you a multi-line discount on your auto insurance. But if you have a car that's not working and you get rid of it, maybe if you try to sell your car, maybe you might not get exactly what they offered you for it. They might undercut you 2 or 300, maybe even $400, but still think about something. If you get rid of your car and let's say it saves you almost $100 a month in auto insurance, you can actually make back the money by not having to pay out that extra auto insurance money each month. And in about 2 or 3 months, if you're patient, you'll make back that difference that you didn't have to begin with. So, um,
Yes. That's a
so
really excellent point because the person is actually earning it back. I mean, like in a indirect way, but it's actually very impacting that way. And you know what? I have to say, my friend was extremely relieved because that person didn't want to hang on to a car. That person's like, no, I'm done with cars, and too many other reasons, maybe sentimental. I mean, it could have been a whole bunch of things. Plus that, Steve, in her case, the car was disabled. Just imagine. I mean, if you do things separately, like if you make a transaction, just like a random transaction. No, I don't know. In my case, when I dealt with a situation very similar to that, many years back, I'll tell you, it was a very smooth process for myself. In my
uh-huh.
case, I ended up like at the actual company. The company, what they did was worked it out, went online, did the whole online thing. This is like years ago when those companies were in their infancy, and they came with a tow. And then I went down to their specific company, did all the paperwork or whatever, all the fun stuff at that point. I was paid right then and there. I'll never forget the experience I had. They actually said, "Oh, there was this like it was a gorgeous building." They said, "Here, you could sit in this room, waiting room, right?" And they said, "Here's a vending machine, chips, all complimentary, all complimentary. Here's a
Wow.
magazine." Yeah, keep in mind this is kind of like pre sit down with a smartphone era. This was like
Yeah.
20 something like years ago, maybe longer. And Steve, within, I'm not even kidding you, within a half hour, I got the whole thing done. And get a load of this. They even had a taxi service that complimentary, drove me back to my location. So for me, it was a positive experience. But if you don't want to go the route to like the exact company, in some instances, they could just come to you, do the transaction right then and there in front of your home or apartment or whatever. I'm mentioning this because we talk about technology. Sometimes it could be good, sometimes bad. In this case, very good because you could get this thing done. If you have something, a car you don't want to keep any longer for whatever the reason is, in your life, you're sentimental. It's just sitting there, like yeah, like you just pointed out a great point, Steve. Paying insurance on a car that's just sitting there month in, month out. This is expensive. We have leaky wallet syndrome for things like that, or keeping on a slightly different note. a storage unit that you don't really use. I mean, I don't understand anyone paying month in, month out. Now, if you're using it, different story. But the ones that, I mean, they just maybe have a handful of clothes, go in there, get the clothes out, and save a fortune every month. So, anyway, I just felt it in my heart to mention this situation. And, my friend was very relieved to get this over with.
Right. And who's to say if a person goes to sell a car, let's say they've hit a financial slump, they need money, let's say they lost their job or they might be out of work temporarily, but you need to put some funds back in your pocket, maybe to help repair another car you have. The money that
Right.
you get out of selling this one car will help lend a hand for the other one. So,
True. Very, very
um,
true. So I felt like I
so
helped, help direct my friend solve a problem because based on a situation that I had a long time, very, very long time ago. And I said, oh, I don't want to deal with, having to put an ad or researching this, that. No, no, no. Let somebody, that alone is worth the little bit of the quote and the quote undercut. And by the way, you're usually going to get the reselling market price, the reality of it based on a car's year, condition, mileage. There are many factors, and you're going to
yeah,
get, pre right. You know what I mean, like the professional thing. We all. I remember when we were selling on eBay. Not to hold us up, I just want to throw this in for a minute. Somebody had asked me, "Well, how do you know how much something is worth?" It's worth what a person is willing to pay for it.
pay
That
for it. Yep.
right, right in the world of reselling. So there you go. But I had it in my heart to mention. Thanks for having me here, Steve.
Oh, you're welcome, and that's absolutely right. It is what a person is willing to pay for a item. I know that as well as you do because I also,
Yeah.
at in the same time as you did, we were both doing eBay, parallel lives, and we didn't know it. But yeah, that is so true. But remember, guys, if you got a vehicle laying around, just sitting around, consider going online. The transaction can happen pretty fast. And I've got one other thing to throw in too. I'm in the state of Florida, so if you have two cars, let's say you have two cars, but you want to make a change on one of the cars' policy. Let's say you want to lower some coverages. If you lower the coverages on one car, it's going to affect the other one. I don't always like that. So
Yeah.
what the state of Florida wants the consumer to do is they want you to surrender your license plate on the car that you want to make changes to so it doesn't affect the other one. I don't necessarily think that's fair play. So for
Hmm.
all of you in this that's listening that might be a Floridian, that's a little word of advice I'm throwing out to you guys so you'll know not to do that. Because if you let's say you carry 100, 300, 100 on your car, which is what I carry, and most people don't, and one of the cars that I have is a 2000 Infinity. Well, I realize that it's an older car, probably the value's not real high on it. I understand that, but it means a lot to me because that's what gets me around. That's my transportation at the time. So I don't necessarily want to go from 100, 300, 100, say to 50, 150. The reason why, there's not really that much of a premium difference. Where you really see a difference, though, is like in the collision neighborhood. If you raise your deductible on your collision. Now, I myself, I carry $100 deductible. Um, I do that. Yeah,
Hmm.
I pay a little more monthly to get that $100 deductible, but it's also that much less I have to pay out in the event something happens. Um,
Hmm.
$100
True.
is a lot easier to come up with than 500.
That's right.
So,
Wow.
you know, yeah. Well, anyway,
So we do have good
glad that,
options, and thank you so much for having me on.
yeah, I do have several options, and so do the people out there that, hopefully this was of some help to them. Um, I want to throw this out. Thank you all for being a subscriber. And if you like my content and you're new and just passing by, please like and subscribe. Um, if all of you would consider, if you want to leave any type of donation or contribution from my work, what I put out there, please consider, leaving an Amazon gift card. It's not that hard. It's very simple to do. You just go onto the website, type in Amazon gift card, look for the black card, look for an e card, and then you just click on it, pick your dollar amount, your email address, their email address. You just follow the prompts. It's very easy to send, and within 3 or 4 clicks, it's as simple as that. But if anybody that wants to show any type of contribution or donation to me for my work, my content that I put out, that would be greatly appreciated. There is no amount too little or too big. So, anyway, I hope all of you, whatever time of day it is, I hope you're having a great day. And I or we will see you back here at a later time. Bye for now.
Bye bye.